First and foremost, I'm not a professional speaker. When they first asked me to do this, I said no. What's the matter? Weren't there any colonels or generals or politicians available, right? They're all on vacation. All I can say is I've studied and I've practiced and researched, and I promise I'll give you my best today. A few things about me that my friends and family might not know. I've jumped out of perfectly good aircraft, both static line and free fall, all solo. I was a certified search and rescue diver. I've dived in the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, Mediterranean, Atlantic, Pacific, a lot of other places. I was a partner in a bikini manufacturing company back in the 90s. We made bikinis in Mexico and sold them to retailers on the beaches of France. That's all I'm going to say about that. I was married once, or twice. Okay, 3 times, but the second and third times were to the same woman, so I don't know if that counts or not. I'm grateful that my sister and her husband have made an hour-and-a-half trip to hear me speak today. She said it's to support me, but I'm pretty sure it's to keep me honest. First time I got married on the Queen Mary in Long Beach in 1986. That lasted about a year. The second time I got married in France to a girl I met in the Middle East who was from New Zealand. She moved back to my hometown, my house in France, and we married there and moved here, and then later had a wedding in her hometown in New Zealand. So again, I don't know if that counts as 2 or 3, but anyway, that's the kind of life I've lived. I'm not a former Marine or ex-Marine. I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine veteran.
Woo!
Thank you. Most Marines would prefer to be called that than ex-Marine, or because Dennis Anderson will tell you, once a Marine. Very good. Love it. Airborne all the way. Yesterday we celebrated the Marine Corps birthday, the 246th Marine Corps birthday, appropriately at a bar called Bravery Brewing, who Arlie Irma used to be a part of before his passing. Marine Corps started in a bar, Tons Tavern, 1775. A bunch of guys got together, said, hey, let's get drunk, go to sea and shoot people. So the Marine Corps was born. Big difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those who passed, for those who lost their lives, who gave their lives in service. Veterans Day is to honor those that are among us today, those that walk among us here. If you're a veteran here today, would you please stand and be recognized? If you can. Thank you. I'd like to share a story about you, about a man named Lee Benjamin White. He was born in 1898 in Preston, Iowa. As he approached his 18th birthday, we were smack dab in the middle of World War I, right? And he got drafted. And he went to serve his country valiantly. He got out of the Army, made a good career in the restaurant field. He was an excellent chef, had a wife and 3 kids, and was living the American dream until the Depression came, 1929. And he lost everything. He lost his restaurant, he lost his wife, his kids, he lost his house, his home. And he ended up spending about 7 years riding the rails across the country, living in hobo camps, surviving, doing whatever he could do to survive. And he did survive. He eventually got reunited with his kids, got back on his feet, and what happened? World War II. And he got called to duty to serve our country once again. I imagine during processing, the conversation went something like this. Some sergeant behind a desk said, Mr. White, you show you have experience in cooking, and the chances are great that you're either going to be an infantryman or a cook in the European theater or maybe in the Pacific. Do you have any other skills? And he probably said something like, well, as a matter of fact, I do. I've got 7 years working with railroad. They said that's good enough to keep you out of the battle. So his second time in the war, he served as a train engineer for the Army in Mississippi, I believe it was, or Louisiana. So he got out. He went to work for General Motors as a train engineer and drove trains back and forth across the country until he retired, and lived a humble life until his death in 1973. I tell you this story, a lot of people call him Lee. Some called him Whitey. But I called him Grandpa.
Woo!
He's the only man that I knew that served in both World War I and World War II. And he had a major influence on my life. I like to think that if he were here today, that he would be as proud of me as I am of him. So. What is a veteran? Today's Veterans Day, and we're here to honor and celebrate veterans. What is a veteran? The best definition I can come up with is any person who at one point in their life signed a blank check to the government of the United States for any amount up to and including their life. That's as simple as it can get for me. A few years ago, I'm not good with microphones. I'm not good talking. I'm nervous as can be. I'll be honest.
Doing great, Kevin.
Thank you. A few years ago, I had the distinct honor to be served coffee by an Air Force Brigadier General. When he approached me in his flight suit, went to pour my coffee, and I saw that silver star on his collar, I was shocked, and I had to take a second look. Generals don't do this to veterans, but he does. His name is Brigadier General John Tyker, call sign Dragon, former commander of the 412 Test Wing out here at Edwards, former F-22 pilot in the war. He said these words I'll never forget. We stand on the shoulders of giants. And we do. I imagine when he said that and others, he talked about those great warriors that landed on the beaches of Normandy or the islands of Iwo Jima and Tarawa, places like that. But I like to think of it as we have giants that walk among us today. And I'd like to share a little bit about some of those. Some of my heroes, my mentors, those giants. First is Bishop Henry Hearns. You still here, Henry? Henry was born a couple years after the Depression to a sharecropper's family in Mississippi. He grew up working on plantations, and he felt a call of duty, a higher calling, and he joined the army, and he served in Korean War. He got out, he came here, he got his bachelor's degree, he worked at Edwards Air Force Base, and retired in charge of, I believe it was the environmental station, correct? Along the way, again, he got his degree, and he got involved with a little church out here by Little Rock in Sun Village called Livingstone. And he built that church out to be a fine church, a great church. And if you've never been, I suggest you put that on your bucket list. They have school, they have so many things, and they teach the word. And I'm proud of him for that. It's a wonderful church. He also got involved in politics, became Lancaster City Councilman, Vice Mayor, Mayor, and now holds the distinct title Mayor Emeritus. I'm proud to know you. I call you my friend. Next we have Steve Baker of Grace Resources. I imagine Steve's conversation probably went something like this. The Navy recruiter said, join the Navy, see the world. He said, I'd like to do that, right? He's a hometown boy, grew up here, graduated this school right next door, right? 1970-ish. And Steve said, yeah, I'd like to do that. So he did. He joined the Navy, and he went all the way to Fresno, California. And on to San Diego, where he was a jet engine mechanic for F-4s. Steve was also the youth pastor of the church at the time, my church. And he would come home every weekend to serve those kids. Wow. And about 29 or 30 years ago, he and some volunteers saw a need to feed people. And they created Grace Resources. And since then, they've fed hundreds of thousands of meals to those who need them, those who might not have had a meal otherwise. Steve's also the founder, I think it's been 17 years now, of the Veteran Outreach that we have at my church, Grace Chapel, 2 or 3 times a year. And veterans, usually 100 to 120, are able to come. They get haircuts, some get medical treatment, sometimes dental, food, clothing. The VA is there, our congressman's office is there, our state politicians. And it's a great, great thing. And I can tell you that if you've not been in a situation to help somebody in need without asking for anything in return, there's no greater feeling. There is no greater reward. Last on this list today is John Parsamian. John's a combat army veteran with 10th Mountain and the Golden Dragons. Raise your hand, John. Be brave. He served in combat. He came back home. He's married. He has 2 wonderful daughters. And he's the vice president of Vets for Veterans, which I'll tell you a little bit about later. John started a body shop just down the street here on J5. And part of that is he has created a program to teach veterans that don't have the skills needed in the marketplace today. And so he's teaching them body shop painting, grinding, all different things, construction, and making them eligible for employment. I spent a year and a half as a recruiter for Northrop Grumman and hired over 100 people, most of them veterans. And some of them I was able to work with John on and hire those veterans. And maybe not have started yet, but they will. And John's one of my heroes. All 3 of you gentlemen are my heroes. And I'm grateful to call you my friends. When I look at these 3 guys, I don't see skin color, I don't see age, I don't see any of that. I see men who served their country, men of valor, men of honor, men of God. Men who still day in and day out put their most of their time, most of their day into service to help others. And again, you can't buy that kind of reward. You can't buy that feeling. And I just wish them well, and I pray for them, and I just hope that they continue to do the great service that they do in our community.
This next part's gonna be hard.
We have other giants in our valley today, and I really can't go on into too many, but another I'd like to point out is Miss Christine Ward, one of my dear friends. She's worked for 2 congressmen, a state senator, and I think McDonald's when she was a kid. But, I do a lot off the grid, behind the scenes to help veterans. And when I run into a snag, when I get into something I can't do, I call Christine, and she's on it that day or the next day. And you're the greatest treasure to us in our valley too.
Yes.
There's some giants here in the valley that we've lost also recently in the last year, 2 or 3. And Jerry Lawrence, we talked about earlier, and he was just a great man, and I just was always honored and humbled to be in his presence. And he did so much, and off the grid and without asking for credit or anything in return. Arlie Ermy, the gunny. If you've not seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, I suggest you put that on your bucket list. That's the closest depiction to Marine Corps boot camp you'll ever see. And Lee went over to the wars often in support of the troops and did a lot for changing the opinion in America towards veterans. And for that, I'm grateful. My dearest and most valued, treasured friend here was Tom Hilzendigger. He created, with his wife Megan, I'm not sure if Megan's here, but Vets for Veterans. It's a truly nonprofit organization that works one-on-one for veterans. They'll help provide meals, clothing, temporary housing. They'll help organize long-term housing. They do so much in the community, and I'm grateful. And 100% of the money goes directly to veterans, and I know that for certain. I was contacted recently by Palmdale Regional Medical Center. They'd like to feed veterans on Veterans Day, on Thanksgiving, pardon me. I said, I think we can get that done. Let me call some people and we'll see what we can do. So I volunteer with some individuals and organizations around the community to get things done. They make things happen. They have the same philosophy as me, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. They get a call, one of us gets a call, reaches out. We'll if it's to help a veteran, we'll make the call, send the texts, organize the meetings, do the research, share the information. We'll get up early, stay up late, work the weekends. whatever it takes to make the project successful. That's the kind of people you want to hang around. That's the kind of people you want to get to know. Recently, Palmdale Regional Medical Center employees contacted me and said they wanted to feed the veterans, right? So I reached out to Vets for Veterans. I reached out to a couple others. And I'm happy to say that on November 20th, a week from Saturday, 100 veteran families will be getting a turkey and the side dishes that they need that probably wouldn't have had a Thanksgiving otherwise. They're providing, Palmdale Hospital and Palmdale High School kids are providing the sides, and we needed to get turkeys, right? And so we had a little plan in place, and that kind of fell through, and we had a sudden need to buy 100 turkeys, right? And so I shared this story with two of my dear friends, Darlene Trevino from Trevino Law Firm and Harry Engel from Fry Chiropractic. And they said right away, what can we do to help? We need sponsors for the turkeys. Do you know anybody? They said, we'll do it, just like that. Not how much is it, nothing else, no questions whatever. We'll do it. They stepped up, right? Again, that's the kind of people you want to hang around. So, I don't know where I am on time, but a lot of times people will tell me, thank you for your service. And for many years, I didn't know what to say. It bothered me. I don't want to take credit for those brave souls that were in the jungles of Vietnam or stormed the beaches of Normandy. And in 2003, my dear friend Dennis Anderson said, why don't you just say thank you? Dennis is escorting a World War II veteran today, and he's got a tight time period. So I do. Until next time, I'll push him fall. So I did, and it's okay, right? And so I can say that when you see that veteran with his jacket full of patches or his hat on from Korea, from Vietnam, from wherever, World War II, and you want to thank him for his service, and that's all, and that's good enough for you, that's okay. It is okay. If you want to find one that's asking for money at the corner intersection or the grocery store or something, you want to give them a few dollars and that's good enough for you, that's okay too. But if you feel moved to do more, if you feel you could do more, should do more, want to do more, wish to do more, here's a few things you could do. Maybe you don't know what to do, right? So some suggestions I have are volunteer with a veteran support organization like Vets for Vets or Coffee for Vets. There's quite a few here in the Valley that are more than willing to help. And if you don't have time for that, maybe donate money. I'm a volunteer, but Vets for Veterans has been feeding veterans for over a year, 50 to 60 meals a month, right? Each, families a month. And they were working on a grant, and ironically, get this, the grant expired in October, and we didn't know where we were going to get the money to pay for meals, right, in Thanksgiving. And the hospital comes along and sponsors come along, and we're able to feed more than we have before. God provides always, right?
Amen.
We could use your donations because we don't know where we're getting money for Christmas, but it will come. It will come. Again, we know God will provide. If you can't volunteer, donate money, time, influence, or money, right? That's what we need. If you know somebody that has money or would like to donate, spread the word, right? Another thing you can do to thank veterans, elect politicians who support veterans on a local, state, and federal level, right? If you have a family, neighbor, or friend that's a veteran, or run into that old guy at the store with his jacket full of patches or his hat on, right? And you want to say thank you for your service, ask him his name. Ask him where he served, when he served, what he did, where he went. Ask him, get to know him. Ask him if you could get his number and contact him once a week. Check on him. I had a little heart procedure last year. And while I was home recovering, a bunch of people, some I don't even know. I had a key under my mat, right? And they got the word out. And every day people would come and bring me meals or food or cook something. And I was still under the influence of the painkillers in the beginning. And I don't remember some of them being there. And they would check on my medicine. They would check on me. Donna is one from the Mom Betty's. I love her dearly. I would never be able to repay them directly for the care and concern that they gave me. And I'm eternally grateful. The only way I can do it is to continue to pay it forward and take care of other veterans. Another way you can help veterans is coordinate with others, right? If there's a veteran in your neighborhood that's homebound or living alone, get with 3 or 4 other people from your church or from your neighborhood or friends, and once a week bring them a hot meal, right? A home-cooked meal. You can't imagine how far that would go with them. These veterans paid a blank check, right? They gave a blank check to the United States of America, and they donated a portion of their lives for our freedom. So it's a small token to pay them back. And again, if you're in a position to hire veterans, hire veterans. I, again, worked for Northrop Grumman for a year and a half. They came to me, asked me to be a recruiter to hire veterans. I said no. I have a habit of saying no. They talked to me and explained what it was going to be. I could work from home and et cetera, et cetera. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And so within that year, a little less than a year, I hired over 100 people, most of them veterans, and from all over the country and from right here in the Valley. Life-changing for these people. They're getting out of the military, they're young, some have families, they don't know where they're going, what they're doing. And here's this knucklehead calling from California. Where's Palmdale anyway? They would ask. We do what? And we'd bring them in, I'd screen them, I'd get them interviews, I'd make them an offer, and they accept the offer, and they move here. 28,000 employees out here at the Center of Excellence in Palmdale right now. And soon to go up another 2,000 over the next 2 years. Largest employer in the Antelope Valley. Briefly, I'm going to say I hear things about the VA healthcare, and I can tell you the VA healthcare has been exceptional to me. Better care than I could have got anywhere else. I had both my shoulders rebuilt. They took care of my heart. I got pneumonia. They took care of my lungs. I'm in a program now, and if someone's not happy with what's going on with the VA healthcare, they're probably not doing their part, because they do whatever they can to help me. I'm grateful. Last, what's next to me? For me, I feel I'm in the final season of my life, and I want the next few chapters to count. I plan on leaving in a motorhome soon, cashing out everything, and traveling around the country for a while, see friends and family, in-laws, outlaws, Marines I served with, and just no time limit and just having fun, just enjoying the best that I can while I can. And then I'm going to live on a boat in a marina somewhere in the South. So that's my plan. I want to thank you all for being here today, for allowing me to share a little bit about what it's like to be a veteran and what you can do to help veterans here today. I hope I've given you good value for your time, and that you'll leave here with 2 new ways, new ideas of thoughts of how you can give back to those who wrote that blank check for you. May God bless you always, and I'll see you soon.